welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. This is Coach Joe, aka Joe the Wellness Curator, and this is the Obsidian Mindset Podcast, where we are redefining what wellness means to you. I am excited for another episode. Y'all know I say that every time. I'm excited about every episode. But for this one, I am bringing on my good friend, Coach Serg of Power Serg. I met him through Sweat DC. We talk a little bit about that. But let me tell you about who Coach Serg, aka Power Serg, is. Power Serg is a Latino body transformation coach with 3+ years of coaching and 7+ years of experience in his own fitness journey, which is still going on to this day. Known as the artist sculpting your body into a work of art and restoring ex athletes to feel sexy in their skin. So, Coach Serge is going to be regular, as I said before. We're going to be talking about a few things over the next couple of weeks and months to come. But on this episode, his debut, first episode, we talk a little bit about his wellness journey, what made him want to become a coach. We also talk about him having body dysmorphia and how that impacts how he coaches his clients. And it's not lost upon me that we are now in National Hispanic Heritage Month. It goes on from September 15th to October 15th. So I knew I had to bring Coach Serge in on the Obsidian experience and talk about what it means to be not only be a Latino personal trainer in this wellness and fitness industry, and what fitness and wellness looks like in the Latino community in general. So get your notepad and get ready to catch some of these gems. Recording in progress. So we're going to start in 3, 2, and 1. What's up? Hello, hello, hello. I'm so excited to have on Coach Serge. What's good?
What's up with you, Joe, the Wellness Curator? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Welcome to Obsidian Mindset. I'm so excited to have you. How's your day going?
It's been pretty good so far, honestly. Pretty very busy lately. Been very busy lately. But the biggest mod I always fall back on is busy is a blessing. Having a lot of stuff on your plate means that you have a lot of abundance and you have a lot of blessings that are in your repertoire. So that is really important to me. So pretty good.
Exactly. Got opportunities. Yeah, that's always a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So for folks that are new here, we're going to be talking about all things wellness when it comes to the 8 dimensions of wellness. But for this episode specifically, we're going to talk to one of my good friends, Coach Serge. How did we meet?
You
Oh, through Sweat DC.
were a member at Sweat on like my daytime job. Yes, sir. Also,
Yeah.
I totally forgot to ask you how you're doing, by the way.
Oh, I'm gravy. I'm good. I'm good. It's kind of muggy outside. But I'm excited anytime I'm in front of this mic.
There you go. Heck yeah. Glad to be here with you, bro. This is gonna be a great talk.
We back for another season. All right. So yeah, I took your class. Definitely remember taking classes at Sweat DC, and then I decided to switch it up and actually become a coach. So that's been from going from in front of the room to I guess not back of the room, but from being a student to a teacher has been an interesting transition. So I mean, even did you used to take class at Sweat, or did you start off as a coach?
I started off as an intern at Sweat, actually. So
Ooh.
there was a period of my life where I was in college and also coaching at Sweat at the same time. That was about the tail end of my senior year in college. But I
Got it.
started off as an intern in January 21. I was with Sweat when we were just hosting 5 to 10 person classes. So being in a
Yes.
small studio, expanding to what the studio is now in Parkview. Been there for the close of the studio on our OG studio, right? But seeing Sweat transition from going from small classes to big 22 person classes, so it's
Mhm.
been pretty dope. That is how I started pretty much. My big project for my internship was being able to actually teach a class, which was directly related to my
Shit.
major, which is exercise science. So that after that, they just threw me a job position, and we are here now. So
Yes. All right. For those that don't know, Sweat DC, of course, is a Black-owned, queer-owned fitness gym, group fitness classes. Dope music, dope instructors, dope vibe, all about community in DC and expanding rapidly. And they hire the best, if I must say so myself. But enough about Sweat. I definitely want to hear more about Coach Surge and his brand. So can you tell me about your own personal fitness journey and what inspired you to become a body transformation coach?
yes, sir, of course.
Oh,
So
he brought out the merch. He brought out the card.
yes, sir. I always stay ready. Matter of fact, I would have wore my shirt today, but I just worked out in it this morning. So that would have been a little nasty.
Cleanliness, cleanliness.
Just make sure you prioritize that hygiene, But so what is it that you want to know about Power Search Fitness again?
Yeah, tell us about your fitness journey and why you decided to become a body transformation coach.
Awesome. Hell yeah, man. That is a long answer. It's a whole life story. But basically, it all started when I was living in Bolivia. To give you a little bit of context, I was born here in the
Ooh.
States. Both my parents are Bolivian. However, when I was 8 years old, I moved to Bolivia to go to school there, go to private school there. Private school there is basically what public school is here in the US. So, whole lifestyle change. And living there for 5 years, I'd say that the biggest thing that made me want to become a coach was a lot of body dysmorphia. I would
Mm.
find it really hard to find my own community of friends because I felt like I was getting a little bit judged on both sides, right? I found it really difficult to cooperate and collaborate with my peers in class in the States and in Bolivia as well. So, and a lot of it would just lead to like negative self-image. I would always feel like what's wrong with me, and I was a little bit insecure about the way I looked as well. So, just getting picked on a little bit as a young kid, and
Ooh.
then ultimately when I moved back to the United States to start high school, I was still struggling with the way my body looked. I felt that I just wanted to feel better about myself, bottom line. I feel like there was something in my control that could have at least made me feel better or make me feel more confident in my skin. So one day I decided to start sports. I always struggled with finding a sport that I was good at. I always joke about how I was complete ass at anything that involved a ball. So like basketball, nope. Soccer, nope. Who would have known, right? Soccer, definitely no. Men's volleyball, nope. So yeah, tried all the yeah, I was like picking daisies on the soccer field. It was terrible. But I came across swimming and wrestling.
Ooh.
Swimming what I did it for like a year or two in Bolivia, and then wrestling when I was a sophomore in high school. But that was my first experience being part of a team and actually discovering what my body is truly capable of. I found out that I was very athletic, a lot more athletic than what I thought I was. Um, and then from there, bottom line is to pretty much cap off the whole story. After wrestling season had ended and I finished my senior year in high school, I wasn't at a good enough competition level to continue in college sports, and also because I had to go to community college and my community college did not have a wrestling team, so it was kind of by consequence. But I still wanted to feel better about myself and continue to work on my health and my fitness and still feel like an athlete because I really craved and missed that feeling. So I started to work out by myself. I signed up for my first membership at Gold's Gym in Chantilly, Virginia, throwback. But I signed up for my first gym membership in 2017 and kept showing up, and now we're here. So basically, the biggest thing that fitness has done for me is confidence. I joke about this too. I started my fitness journey because I wanted to feel more attractive and I wanted to look more attractive towards girls, for example. Like that is, but I will flat out say that like I was in it for the aesthetics and to get compliments. Like I just wanted to look good and feel attractive and sexy. But I found myself staying with it. Obviously, I was seeing results and I was feeling better, but I found myself constantly showing up because there would be times when I would have like a bad week and have a week off of my routine, and I felt so bad. And I was like, man, I'm off my
Mm.
routine. Like it feels like something's missing. And that is when I made the click in my brain that I'm really with it for the mental benefit, how it makes me feel good and better about myself, and still helps me unlock and see what my body is truly capable of. And honestly, that amazes me to this day. I think the human body is a beautiful vessel. It is capable of many amazing things, but being able to transform it and feel confident in your skin and sexy at the same time is a great achievement to unlock. And that is why I became a coach. I felt like everyone should feel this feeling from being ground level, bottom zero, zero confidence to being up to where they are, where they're keeping their health and themselves a priority. I think that's the biggest thing I want to instill into other people as well. Just being able to feel confident in what they do and see what their body is truly capable of.
I love that. Oh man, there's so much I want to dive into. One thing that I really want to touch on because I can resonate with body dysmorphia, and I want to see if you're able to touch on what exactly did you feel or what did you perceive during those times, and do you still ever feel that way?
So yes, I still feel that way sometimes. I'm gonna keep it real. Like your favorite coach, your favorite trainer probably struggles with that as
Hmm.
well. They have their
Hmm.
days. Like it is just it gets to like you start to see a little bit of gains and your mind goes to that space where it feels like that has to be the standard without taking into account like maybe this transformation, this 6 week cut, whatever, yada yada. It will help your body look a certain way, but that doesn't always mean that it's sustainable, right? It can mean just like a temporary
Yep. Yep.
transformation, and then you can still look somewhat that level, but you got to be able to balance the lifestyle habits with that as well, and make sure you're not running yourself into the ground. But back then when I was struggling with body dysmorphia, I will say that I felt just not capable of a whole lot. It's kind of it's to a degree where I just didn't feel fit. I didn't feel like somebody who was trying out a lot of sports and trying to figure out what they were gonna do in terms of competition and still keep themselves busy. It didn't feel it kind of felt like imposter syndrome, right?
Mm.
Like I'm playing all these sports, or at least I'm trying to play all these sports, but my body still looks this way, and there's a disconnect, right? At least that's how I felt in my brain. But that's when, back then I didn't know all the information I know now as a coach, but it just felt like I wasn't at a high enough competition to be on par with my peers.
Got it. Yeah, I resonate with that. And I think one thing that I hear a lot, and I wonder how this impacts how you train, is a lot of folks that I either train or I hold with accountability or whatever that looks like. They often say they like to train with me because I train like a real person. Like my journey was actual. I was at one point and then I came to another, and I've kind of gone through the full scale of emotions. And they can see that I wasn't born with abs, right? I didn't come out. It's like it
Me
was
neither.
all lived experiences. So I'm wondering how do you feel going through that and kind of having those life experiences? How does that impact how you train folks today? Or
Uh,
if it does, it might not.
like those past experience,
Yeah.
how it affects how I train. I would say it makes me a lot more understanding and appreciative about what my clients are doing, because bottom line, the whole reason, like I said before, that I got into becoming a coach and helping people transform their bodies and their health for the better was that I know what it's like to be at ground zero and
Mm.
not feel like you can take up space. I know what it feels like to physically be here, but you're like, I'm not, I feel like I'm not taking up space. I'm not representing. I'm not competing at a level of competition. I have a competitive mindset. I will be honest. That's just the athlete in me, but not being at a high enough caliber to where I can, um, perform the way I want to. So I'm a lot more patient with my clients. I know that showing up is can sometimes be the win because mental
Mm.
health is a real thing. Mental health, especially if you're not keeping it a priority, it will make every day inconsistent for you. But you just got to be able to meet in the middle and know that getting one thing done is better than getting nothing done at all. So
Ooh.
I wanted to be able to make sure my clients feel comfortable and sharing their wins with me, celebrating that, as well as making this a safe enough space to where we can actually talk and solve problems, because I was trapped inside my own head a lot. I was like, I'm not I'm not making the gains that I want to see, and I'm trying intermittent fasting, I'm trying keto, I'm trying paleo, I've tried so many diets, but nothing's happening, and it would throw
Ooh.
me in for a loop. So
Relatable. I've gone through them all. I've tried them all, and you just gotta, yeah, you just gotta ground yourself. And I think it is important to kind of go through everything because everybody's different. And there, I think you'll learn stuff from certain diets that you'll want to like take from it. But I don't think there's a one size fit all for most people. Um, so yeah. With that, I would love to know now what is Power Surge Fitness, and why the blue and neon green,
Power Surg
blue and
Fitness
green.
is a coaching platform to where people get to be a part of my community. So, like I said, the whole reason why I started was to make give people the confidence to feel sexy in their skin. That's one of my motto sayings. Um, and I wanted to be able, like, especially if you're a former athlete, I want to be able to restore you and bring you to a level that not only you feel at the level as you used to compete, but maybe even above that. I'll be honest, like I feel like I'm in better shape now than when I was a competitive wrestler in high school. But there's a way to that. But basically, Power Search Fitness is a Latino owned fitness company that provides services for people in terms of online coaching as well as hybrid coaching with some personal training. But the whole goal is to create a game plan that meets you where you're at, and helps you be consistent in those areas that you tried out before and you may not have been consistent enough with. You got some skin of the game. You've done an 8 week challenge. You've done, I don't know, like you know how to do a push up and a squat in the gym, but it helps you take you to that next level. So I feel like it's more. I feel like people get intimidated when I say like an advanced fitness level, but like if you take a class at F45 or at Orange Theory or like berries, for example, I know that you're making an active effort towards your
Yep.
health. I want to give you the extra insight and be your eyes to coach you in your blind spots where you may not be paying attention to that are actually making a huge impact in your journey. But I pride myself in being Latino owned. I feel like there needs to be more Latino health professionals in the field. So
Yes.
that is pretty much a summary of what Power Search Fitness is and what it stands for. I want to create more representation for Latinos in my community, and show them the example of what a healthy person should be. And not it's not one size fits all, but the blue and neon in my are my brand colors because blue is one of my favorite colors. That is pretty much the bottom line. I've done some research into is how blue signifies courage and strength. I have like a lapis lazuli bracelet that was gifted to me by a friend that
Mm.
also signifies courage and strength. I think it's a color that is very vivid and it helps to identify something that is good because part of the reason why blue and green, this is kind of nerdy, but you know how like especially when you play arcade games as a kid, like blue and green mean like the good guys. Like you're just it's corny, I know, but that is part of the reason. I'm a huge Star Wars nerd. I will say that flat out. Like I was obsessed
Ooh,
with blue and the green lightsabers. So um, but yeah, blue is one of my favorite colors. I think it represents being good energy, strength, and courage. Green is my mom's favorite color. So that
well,
is a big explanation for itself. I love my mom. I brag about her a lot. She is the source of my strength, truly. I wouldn't be on this earth if it wasn't for her. And she is my world and my everything. So I wanted to make some kind of memoriam towards her. I mean, she's not going anywhere anytime soon, but I want to have some kind of representation because that's how much she means to me. She is been a huge role model for me.
I love that. Wow, okay, I do love the blue and green as well. All
Thank
right,
you.
so so you mentioned that you're a Latino personal trainer, and we actually did have conversations offline about the at least perception wise, or at least across the past that we've seen, there aren't as many Latino personal trainers, at least in the DC area. So I'm curious as to what you believe is a unique perspective or cultural insight. What cultural insight do you bring to your coaching based off your experience, specifically being Latino?
Culture insights that relate to power search fitness. I would say I feel like, especially in Latino culture, there are two things that are really prevalent, and one of them is being that lifting weights will make you bulky, specifically for women.
Mm,
I feel like that is kind of universally and internationally known. Like it's a stigma that is still somewhat prevalent, and we're still working on debunking that. But especially, um, Latino parents can be judgmental as fuck because
Yeah.
they come from a different time and a different generation, and they are set in their ways. So they truly believe what their mom or their grandmother told them from like the 1900s is still relevant, or like 1800s is still relevant to this day. So a lot of it's like around being like lifting weights and lifting heavy, right?
Mhm.
Is overall not as safe for the long run, right? It could be bad for your frame. You might break your back or something. I've heard a lot of my aunts and even my mom herself worry about me hurting myself in the gym, and also that I might be overdoing it. Another one is nutrition. I feel like Latino culture is very, especially like in Latin South America, which is, you know, obviously where Bolivia is. We
Mhm.
cook a lot of our food. Food is different there, so we actually eat quality. A lot of our stuff is made from scratch. So there are quality ingredients there. It's more about portion control, because whenever I would pull up on my aunt, especially on my dad's side, she would always look at me and say, like, I used to think I thought I was a chubby kid. And I go to her house, she's like, why are you looking so skinny? Eat these 2 plates of food real quick. And I'm like, okay. But yeah, I feel like portion control could be really important. You can
Mm.
it's all about balance. That is my coaching perspective with a lot of my clients. But especially if you're working towards a certain goal, you got to be able to balance some of that out, right? It's not just about like mindless eating, because I feel like eating consistently and like our views on body types and what's skinny and what's not skinny leads us to one, overeat, in a sense that, you know, if you eat more than what you burn, you store it as body fat. I feel like we as coaches know that, but it gets to the point where you start that is the groundwork for where bad relationships with food start to happen, right? You start
Mm.
like, no, well, not anorexia, but like it gets to the point where I don't know,
Like
I
a
find
bad
myself
relationship.
bad relationship with food. You would like eat a lot when you're bored and when you really don't even feel like it, or just like your eating schedule is very random, right? It's
Yep.
not consistent.
So
So
I think that's great um connection to where I think I hear a lot of conversation. I would love to hear your thoughts on this of like, especially in the Black community and Latino community, the cultural foods. And there's this thought like I need to cut them off if I want to be healthy. And what is your thought? Like if a client of yours comes to you like that, there's like, I want to eat my rice and beans. I want my, what is it? I was gonna try to figure mango. I want all that. Like, what is your
ooh, oh
what
man.
you see, I threw that out there. I put it to you
Uh,
out there twice. So what do you tell them? What do you if that is their blocker or their thing that's concerns them the most? What do you say to them?
well, first of all, I had an instant flashback when you said mangoes. So I've been to the Dominican Republic once, and that is their signature breakfast dish. And man, I had it at the at an all-inclusive resort, but I still dream about it to this day.
It's
So I think about the cheese a lot.
I
Yo,
love me some cheese.
like it's terrible for my skin. I break out. Like that is like yeah, it's good stuff. Anyway, snap back to reality. So I feel like bottom line, you can have mindful indulgences, quote unquote. Terminology is important, right? Mindful, being able to still have what you desire, but in a controlled portion per se. But the point here is that you can still have at least 90% of the foods. I might be exaggerating a little bit when I say that, but you can still have most of the foods that you still enjoy. It's just that you have to have a plan and you have to have more intentionality around them. I'm not saying you got to earn your meal, but
Yep.
you got to ask yourself, like, if you go into like this work conference where dinner and dessert is catered for, and you just got to show up with a fancy 2 piece, like, and you see this dessert and you're like, do I really want this dessert? Do I want this like cheap ass cheesecake, or like is it just because I'm bored, right? Like
Mm,
there has to be more intentionality and thought around it. Like, am I just eating because I'm bored or that it's convenient, or is it like I actually like this is my favorite dessert. I'm with my favorite best friend. We're having a great time. It's like I'll even relate it to Mother's Day because that just happened, Mother's Day weekend. Like I totally indulged a bunch over the weekend because it's Mother's Day and I love my mom a lot, and it only comes once a year. Like you could still enjoy those savory moments, especially on holidays with loved
mm,
ones.
mm.
But bottom line is you got to have intentionality behind it. I still focused on getting my protein in. I still focused on drinking water. So I still like I still felt like I could still keep up some of my good habits because I know how good they make me feel.
Mm.
And I just weigh those things out. But it's just more about like having intentionality behind it. Like you can have like a cheat meal or two over the weekend, and still balance it out. But usually where most people tend to mess up is that, all right, if I have one cookie, I gotta have the whole damn bag. I'm like, that it don't really work.
Extreme. It goes
Like,
from like a cheat meal to cheat day to cheat
yeah.
week, and it's just like you just shouldn't cheat. Just in, I think even like the term cheat is like there's like this connotation around it. It's just like you said, just be intentional, right? And if you need to kind of plan it out, right? Decide seeing what's going to be there in advance. Are you checking the menu before? Are you gonna, make some plans to make sure you eat before? Like whatever that looks like to you, just being very intentional so that you don't. I think the worst thing is when you eat something, at least for me, is when you eat something and you're like, oh, that was not worth it. It just was
Yo,
not, it does not hit the way it should have. And now I just feel gross. Like that is the worst feeling.
AKA bar food.
Oh my
Yeah, like I know what it is. I know what it is. Like you're at happy hour, you're like, let me get this glizzy real quick.
God.
Like I was like, it's like, yeah, it's just it's a spiral. You start
It
spiraling
is.
downwards. But I mean, it's okay. Like I said, you can still have these
Yeah,
things. You just
yeah.
have to have more intentionality behind it. I'll give you a specific example. I had this one client where she was obsessed with M&Ms. She was having them like every day.
What kind?
It's
Peanut?
like, yeah,
Peanut?
I
I
don't
don't
know
know.
what.
It's important,
I'm
but
assuming peanut. I personally, I don't really have M&Ms like that. I'm more of like a sour candy kind of guy. I love M&Ms
ah,
and sour worms. But no, I see. I like coaches like these things too.
yeah,
And
we're human.
exactly. Anyway, but it's like she had this bag that was like lying on her kitchen table, and every time she would like walk past it, she would just stick her hand in the back and eat a few. And like the amount of times you pace back and forth that room, just I don't know, doing laundry or doing errands, you're like, you were like halfway through the bag. Like,
Is
so
mine.
it's like it's less about like random board eating, more like, all right, maybe I can have 1 or 2 days out the week where I can like enjoy life a little bit and go out for a drink or two with friends and order that glizzy. But like it's just you gotta it can't just be random. I feel like
Right. Very intentional.
like just how your 9 to 5 has a structure in your job, you should treat your body the exact same way. I'm not saying
Ooh,
you got to plan everything out, but there should be some kind of plan of action behind it.
I love that. So, and it's very interesting because right now this kind of gets into the next question. We were talking about physical and physical wellness, but now we are talking a little bit about mental and your approach and being intentional. So, how do you prioritize both physical and mental well-being in your coaching approach?
I balanced both more by focusing on lifestyle habits. So
Mm.
I celebrate wins with a lot of my clients. I try to make them never belittle any kind of win. Like even if you show up to the gym consistently every day, even though you were having a bad week at work, that is still a win to me, even if we maintained and didn't see a whole lot of results within that week. So a lot of it's motivation, encouraging, making sure they're still proud of what they do. But I think the biggest thing that supports mental health is again the lifestyle habits. So my I do a 6 month transformation process with anybody that hops on Power Serg Fitness. That is usually my go-to. In the first 2 months, we focus more on lifestyle habits in the sense that we're not tracking any food, no calories, no macros. I'm just making sure that did you eat consistently throughout the day? Did you have breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Did you drink mostly water throughout the day? What are your stress levels like? I have questions that say like, what are your stress levels from 1 to 10? How's your energy from 1 to 10? Another one's like how much sleep you got. So giving me like this 360 view about what you're doing every day kind of helps me, especially when I check in with my clients weekly. It helps me figure out where I need to be as a coach to help them the most, right? Like
Mm.
weekly check-ins where they report to me anything that happened over the week, and if there's something that comes up, we troubleshoot it. But they also do a daily check-in where they submit a lot of their data. And if I notice, like for example, like you're averaging between 7 and 8 hours of sleep a week, because it does give me averages. My app, I have an app, by the way, and my app gives me averages. And I noticed that your energy, like sleep is good, stress levels are some are low, but your energy is still a little bit down. So like that is on the lower end. That helps me figure out like, all right, there's something else going on. So
Got it.
it gets to the point where you kind of got to read the scenario, but like if this number and this number doesn't make sense, that's where I would actually message my client and be like, hey, what's up? Like, is everything okay? Is something going on? Like, I've had clients literally be like, hey, like, I've been good with my workout routine. I've been showing up to the gym consistently. I'm eating consistently, but I'm just dealing with some personal stuff right now. And I stay within my scope of practice. I'm like, hey, like, if there's anything I can help with, let me know. But
Hmm.
that I look at the data and then I'm like, all right, something's up.
There's something, yeah.
I'm like, hey, I'm here for you. This is a safe space. There's literally, I've had personal training sessions where like they have a bad week, they get some really bad news, something tragic happened within their circle, and we just skip the workout and we go for a walk. Like we just walk in circles around Georgia Avenue. Um,
Hmm.
so that I want to be able to reinforce that working with me is a safe space, and it's
Right.
not like we got a one track mind and we're going balls to the wall every workout. It's like we can switch gears and meditate the whole session if we need to. Like,
I love that. It's about adding value wherever we can. I think that's a true good coach. Knowing where you could add value and going for it. So,
yeah, man, because like I know what it's like to be, like I said before, to be at ground zero where your confidence and your mental health is at the worst state ever. I did struggle a lot with body dysmorphia and my mental health as a kid. So I know what it's like to not, well, to feel worthless. Bottom line, I know what it's like to be like at ground zero. So I would never wish that for anyone, because I don't think anyone deserves to feel that down. Like especially like sometimes like my clients, I've had some sessions where my clients cry during a session. I'm like, do you need a hug? Like,
that's just
I
real.
want to make sure you feel good.
Yeah.
After you see me, I want to make sure I've at least made your day 1% better.
Hmm. I love that. So with that, and you don't have to get specifics, but can you share any success stories or transformations during your coaching career that stands out to you or that you're proud of?
Oh, hell yeah. So, I've helped one of my clients be able to bench the bar and just some tens. That's where we started at, to like 175 pounds for like
Oh,
in like a year. So that's been a huge one. Seeing clients get stronger. I've held two or three of my clients get their first pull up. I've worked with
that
two
that is
pre.
big
Yeah, that is really cool.
because
That was
them
really cool when I got to see that happen. It was like I
because
was so hyped. Like I'm like jumping up and down. I'm like, let's go, like college weight room style. Like it's hype.
yeah,
I love that energy.
because a lot of that's mental. So once you hit that
Yes.
barrier and do your first one, you're like, oh yes, I'm on it.
They like you hang on to the bar, and it's typical because I used to do it too. You're like you dangle, you're like no,
Right.
you gotta hit that shit. Like there's
And
no
go.
other
Yep.
feel. Like you can't put that self doubt in your mind. You're like I
Yep.
gotta fucking pull. Um,
Oh,
but that's one. I've worked with two clients throughout pre-pregnancy and post-pregnancy.
oh,
So
that's
that was
amazing.
really cool. I helped them both deliver their, well, not help, right?
I
But
was like,
like,
oh, you
oh no, no, I'm not carrying babies out the womb, but like they had
mid squat?
having their first kid. And I was really grateful and appreciative that they trusted me into help into prioritizing not only the health of them, but the health of their baby to
Baby,
like the
yes.
firstborn into this world. So we just focused on hip mobility, still being able to keep somewhat of a strong core without overworking, so that that diastasis recti, which is a separation of the ab muscles, isn't as intense, right? Because
Mm.
there's most cases when you're pregnant, you can still do a lot of the things you were doing before. It's just that the intensity just has to go down a bit, but you can still lift in the gym,
Hmm.
still throw some weights around, no doubt. Um, so that's another one. God, what's another one? Oh yeah, I'm currently helping one of my clients work on that hourglass physique for her wedding dress. A lot of them are transformation in the sense that um, we've worked on reducing like a lot of body fat. They're looking leaner, looking more muscular. I've helped a lot of my female clients get a banging set of arms, which is great. We love seeing some sculpted arms.
Yes.
Sexy. Um, but yeah, lots of cool stuff.
I love that. That's a good range. That's like strength, aesthetics, mental. Um, all right, Power Surge out here doing all the things, hitting all the dimensions.
All around.
Uh, so with that, like, how do you help your clients stay motivated and focused, or committed to their fitness journey, especially during challenging times and setbacks?
I'd say the accountability piece plays a huge role, being
Mm,
have a touch point at least once a week, because that it helps me make sure that we are hitting all of our targets and we are still being consistent and still doing something throughout the week, right? Um, I think that having the more touch points, the better. That's why I have a daily form with a lot of my clients too. But keeping them accountable is a huge piece of the game. Like being able to message them, for example, I have this one client. She's on Mighty Meal. She orders through them consistently, and every time I put in my order because I order through them as well. I text her. I'm like, hey, I got mine in. Did you order yours? Like being able to still touch point with them, be like, hey, did you do this that you said you were gonna do? Helping them being consistent and just letting them know that I'm still here and I'm still here as a resource to help them if they ever run into any troubles. So that is good. That is how I keep my clients consistent, and just celebrating the wins. I think that is a
big one.
safe space, creating a safe space, knowing that we can switch gears if anything in their life personally comes up. We just need to go for a walk. But also, like anytime one of my clients reaches a year of training with me, I buy them a whole freaking gift card, and
Oh,
I write them a handwritten card, and I'm
it's
like, congrats on your first year. So
the little things. You're
yeah.
so nice.
Hey, I try
Uh,
my best, man. Like it's a journey, right? It's not
it is.
like I said at the beginning of this call. Like sometimes the win is just showing up because you
Yeah.
really don't feel like it. Like I know what that's like. So
Yeah. And we're not robots. Coaches aren't robots, right? We do care about your feelings. We do care about not only your physique, but your mental, like you said. And celebrating those wins can really help when you're down, or you have self-doubt, or you think you're not as far as you think you are. And sometimes it takes someone else outside to say, did you celebrate that small win? You being able to do one push up or pull up after all this time is like, that's a win. So yeah. So,
yeah.
sorry, you gonna say something?
No, I was gonna say like I feel like sometimes, especially if you're new on any journey or you're new to
Mm,
whatever, you might belittle whatever wins or whatever gains you're making in the gym. Um, but I'm like, especially us as coaches, we know how much effort it takes to hit a certain PR or hit it like your first pull up, for example, or being able to bridge over 200 pounds in the gym. Like that shit takes a lot of work and that's a lot
yep.
of weight. Like you gotta be able to be like the look at the number and be like you're hip thrusting more than your body weight. That's actually insane. That
It
means you're
is.
strong as fuck. Like,
Mm-hmm.
because not everyone
Facts.
can do that. Especially the biggest thing that helped me ground myself and identify how astonishing and how great a feat in the gym is, like being able to bridge 200 pounds, do a pull up, bench press your body weight was, I will be honest, like working at Sweat, working in a group fitness space, because the amount of people you see in and out that gym, you see all kinds of body type, you see all kinds of strength levels, and you can relate. You're not comparing them to anybody, but you're like, you are strong as shit. Like you look at the rest of the gym and then you look at that one person in class that's squatting the whole damn rack. You're like, that is sick.
Yep.
So
And I think that's what the beauty of having a diverse clientele, or diverse, being able to just see a diverse amount of people, especially in the gym. Just like you never can assume, because it's always those like tiny mind, like all those small folk, they'll like out squat, out bench. You can't do male or female, you can't do gendered, because there are folks of both genders that will out squat, out everything me. So it's just like, it's just great to see just folks in there, and you can just tell when they know they got it, right? I think, like you said, it's a little bit of confidence, but once they've got it, it's amazing to see, and it's also amazing to see folks progress. That's one of my favorite things of just seeing like
yes.
they're just there and they are owning it. I think ownership And honestly, a little bit like feeling yourself, right? Just like I know I got this. I thank you for your help, but this is me. I don't know. It's just so cool. It's
You
I
walk
love
out of
it.
that gym, you're like, I lifted the 80
I
pound.
did
I'm like,
that.
I did that. I picked that shit up and I put it down. Like that is pretty hype.
Oh,
Like you were like, I'm walking a little different today because
yeah.
I just
It's,
bench my body weight.
and it's not
I
the
feel like
soreness.
oh yeah, the soreness is always like you feel like shit. Like right now, my chest is sore as shit yesterday, but in the moment you're like, yeah, I feel like I'm cut from a different cloth. Like I
Hmm.
did that. And also like I said, the progress, like also relating it back to group fitness classes, you may see someone at day one of the program and towards the last week of the program, you'll notice that wow, you've made a huge increase in weight over this program. Like you notice where they were at the start of this 1 month program, and then at towards the end of it, you're like, wow, like we've added in this 1 month of training, we've added 20 pounds to your bench. That's
That
pretty
and
good.
that's
Good. That's solid.
yeah. And sometimes, like you said, you have to remind folks that's a win because if it's easy for them to look left and right and see folks doing like twice that, and they're like, I don't got it. But it's like, no, if you look at your own progress from beginning to end, you did that. And like you said, you deserve to celebrate it.
Yeah, a lot of it. Yeah, of course, you have to celebrate every win because, like I
Everything.
said, consistency is what drives results. That is the biggest thing that I preach to my clients. You got to be able to show up even on the days that you don't feel like it and celebrate the wins. Because think about everything, or think about how your life was before you started dedicating all this time and energy towards bettering yourself, right? You're in a much better place now. So even in your bad week where you were still making an effort and you still saw some kind of win. Just imagine what a perfect, quote unquote, perfect week would be for you, where you're sticking to the plan, eating all your meals, you're getting your protein every day, you're hitting the gym consistently. That is what creates an A game. I think one of my favorite quotes that Coach Rain does, like shout out to Rain, by the way, is that
Hey,
he said, how you perform in your B game makes your A game that much better. So
ooh,
being able, like, if you can raise the threshold of like whatever setbacks you have, if you can still perform well and still hit a lot of your targets despite you having a bad week or a bad day, whatever, if you can still perform well in that area, that automatically reaches the threshold of your A game. Because when you're on it and you're on point, you're like, you're making all the plays, you're shooting all the shots, you're scoring the points.
I love that. I think I've never thought of it in that sense. But that's such a good point. Like just pushing through and being committed no matter what stage you are, because once you're in your A game again, um, it'll be only that much better.
You're unstoppable.
Unstop. I know that's right. Shout outs to Coach Rain.
Hell yeah, we love Coach Rain.
Okay, so for the last thing that I always ask folks, what is some advice or what gem do you want to drop for the folks that are starting their fitness journey or they just want to looking for some positive change in their life?
I would say start at a level that you're comfortable with. So, like I said before, after working at group fitness classes and teaching at a group fitness studio for over 3 years now, becoming a coach
Ooh,
for about the same
bro.
amount of time, I know that the biggest thing that holds a lot of my clients back is consistency, especially like we might kill it for 3 weeks and we have 1 week where like all else goes loose, right? But being able to still find like being in a position where you're putting yourself to win. I think that's really essential. I think it's really important to put yourself in a position to win. So just starting where you're comfortable at, um, and being able to graduate and turn the dial up on the intensity. So like if starting a fitness journey for you looks like going to the gym once or twice a week, that is a great starting point. I
Hmm.
want you to stick with that. I want you to be marry to that and master that for like a month or two. And then after killing it for that amount of time, we can go up to three. But put it like starting off at a comfortable rate or a comfortable position and gradually increasing the intensity a little bit and celebrating the wins. Celebrating the wins is also important. So
Progress. I love that. All right. So I thought you thought oh, possibly you thought that's where we're going to end, but I have one more trick up my sleeve. So one thing left is we have one game that we play called This or That. So this is going to be rapid fire style. I'm going to ask you for two options. You got to pick which one. This is Wellness Edition.
it's gonna be
You
spicy.
ready? All right, let's get it. Green smoothie or fresh juice?
Fresh shoes. I'm a sneakerhead.
No, fresh juice.
Fresh juice. Oh, I said fresh shoe. My fault. Sorry.
That's real.
I'm like, I love gym
I
shoes.
want my
I have like
kicks.
four pairs of Metcons in my closet.
Oh shit.
At least. Like I'm a gym sneakerhead. Smoothie. I love smoothies.
All right. Hit workout or steady state cardio?
Hit,
Foam rolling or stretching?
stretching,
Body weight exercise or free weight?
free weight all day.
That's right.
Oh
Group
yeah.
fitness class or solo workout?
Solo workouts, honestly. Yeah. That is where I started. I joke about this a lot. Like I I feel like, especially in my wave, in my generation, people that were starting to go into the gym, everyone had like a lifting buddy and they would post it and they would make a lifting account, which I love that, by the way. I think that is those little, you got to play some games to kind of keep yourself consistent in the
Mhm.
gym. So if your accountability system looks like creating a fitness page, I'm all for it. But me, I never had that. I showed up and I did
Went
the
for
work.
all right. Dumbbells or kettlebells?
Dumbbells.
Zumba or dance cardio?
Fuck. Ooh, that's a good one. Dance cardio.
Hey. Outdoor boot camp or indoor boot camp?
Ooh, outdoor.
Oh. Plant-based protein or whey protein?
Plant-based.
Yeah, shout out to my plant-based protein.
I
Yoga
will say my gut wanted to say whey, but I mean dairy is
and
tough.
your gut said no.
My gut
Literally,
said
your gut
no.
said, let's go back to the vegan. Intermittent fasting or overnight fasting?
Intermittent fasting. Actually, I do intermittent fasting.
You do?
Hmm?
What's your hours? What are your cycle?
So we talked about earlier how I tried like most pretty much almost every diet you can think of, with the exception of like the carnivore diet and a few others. But
Mhm.
there was a point where I was doing keto and intermittent fasting. And that was very intense.
Wow.
I used to do the 16 8-hour rule, and I still do that sometimes, but honestly, I just revolve it around my work schedule because I'm really busy in the morning and I don't get a second to settle down and kind of go about my day until like 1. So that is
Got
usually
it.
when I'll have between noon and 1, I'll have my first meal of the day after hitting the gym. That is what I'm accustomed to because I was cutting weight for wrestling. So my mind is already
Got it.
like waiting a little bit before I eat.
Got it. All right, let's jump into these. Battle ropes or slam ball?
It's a good one. Shit.
Rapid fire. Come on.
Slam ball. I got the Power Surge slam.
Jumping jacks or burpees?
Ooh, jumping jacks. I hate burpees.
And lastly, elliptical bike or the Stairmaster?
Stairmaster, my nemesis.
Yes, that's my boy, the Stairmaster.
No hand. Like, hey, man, you gotta walk that shit up. Yeah.
Just keep pushing. All right, that was an amazing. Good job. Good job. I had so much fun. So before we end off, let the folks know where they can reach you and if they were interested in getting some of your services or being a client, how should they contact you?
Yes, of course. Once again, I'm a body transformation coach. Power Search Fitness is Latino owned. If you want more information about my coaching services or just want to know what I'm about as a coach and follow my journey, because I do post a lot of personal stuff too. You can find me on Instagram at power_surge SERG 6. You can email me at Sergio at Power Surge SURGE fitness.com. So those are the two main ways to reach out to me. But the best way is probably Instagram. I usually think I'm the most on Instagram.
Perfect. I'll keep all his information in the bio. So if you missed that, no problem. And he will be coming back as a regular on Obsidian Mindset. I'm so excited for him to come back. So if there's any topics y'all want us to talk about, feel free to reach out and to DM us. But with that said, thank you again, sir. I can't wait to see from you and hear from you again. Obsidian can't wait to hear from you again. And as we like to say, thank you for picking you today.
Hey, I
Bye,
appreciate
y'all.
thank you, Joe. This is a huge opportunity. Appreciate you, brother. Like this means a lot to me. And I'm really excited to hop on this mic with you again because this was a really great talk. A lot of this was like I freestyled this whole thing.
As you should. And maybe we'll make we might have to go to different locations. We'll make this fun.
Ooh, okay, we can do like an in-person one.
All right, y'all. Have a good one.
All right.
Bye.
See ya.